Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, guys. Welcome to the Full 100, the last of the week's edition. I hope you enjoyed that video you've just seen. It's fabulous. It's fabulous. I love that video, and I thought I'd start the show with that. Guys, there are some videos that I always enjoy talking to you guys. Don't get me wrong. Like, I wouldn't be doing three videos a week if I didn't enjoy what I was doing. But there are some that I really enjoy. There's some that I really love. This show is one of my favorites. Really is. It's going to be one of my favorites. I'm looking forward to the show myself, even though I haven't even recorded it. So guys, without further ado, let's get down to today's show. Right, you saw the opening video, right, guys? This show is really about the rude awakening of many on both sides of the Atlantic, both in America and I know here, listen, this country has tons of QAnon supporters, tons that thought this exactly what these guys were thinking, that Trump was going to pull out the hat. But they won't tell you they support Trump. But what they do is they support the getting of the pedophiles. What they don't get in their thick heads is that getting of the pedophiles a con as well. Just like Trump was a con. And everything else was a con. It's a bit like you didn't think cars existed, but then you see a car and now you believe cars exist, but you don't believe people drive cars. It's kind of like that. I know it's a crazy example, but it's sort of like that, guys. For me, it's sort of like that. I mean, you can come up with many different examples to what I'm trying to say. But look, guys, let's get down to the second video now, because you've just seen the first. So let's get to the second video. And this video, basically, you're going to see the tweets that was flying around amongst these QAnon and conspirators and what they were saying at the time as it was going on. And listen to how they've turned on Trump finally. Anybody who isn't in that echo chamber will tell you, like, when they've seen Trump big up the Russians, disrespect his own intelligence agency, big up flipping North Korean leader, push away the allies in the Western world and hug the Russians and the Turkey and hug all these strong dictatorship. None of that turns these people against this idiot until now. You're going to love this video. Those of you who ain't in that bubble, you're going to love this video. Take a look.
The online chatter of these extremist groups. And it's been very interesting what they've been saying and what's been happening since Joe Biden's inauguration. What are they talking about?
Well, as you said, there's a lot of confusion and the different groups are sort of splintering somewhat. You have a faction, actually quite a wide faction, that's really angry. Trump told them he was going to carry on. He was going to stay president. And they think they're convinced the election was fixed, but they thought that he had a plan. And it turned out he didn't have a plan. He left the White House, and many of them are angry that he's quit on them.
Well, a couple of things also. The New York Times is reporting on the language that some of these groups, like the Proud Boys, are now using about Donald Trump. Quote, they're calling him extraordinarily weak, a shill, quote, a total failure, weak and flaccid. What did they want him to do? I mean, were they expecting pardons? What did they actually think was going to happen?
They weren't expecting pardons. They were expecting a military coup or something along those lines. They were expecting that Donald Trump would remain the president, and he would remain it by finally rounding up his enemies and doing what he wanted to the country. They're saying the ballot box has failed us. We need to look to the bullet box.
Okay, that's obviously very alarming. Here's one of the things that the New York Times, according to the New York Times, here's one of the things that they've seen the Proud Boys saying. To all demoralized Trump supporters, there is hope. There is an alternative. Abandon the GOP and the Dems. In terms of the QAnon followers who believe this, mind-blowing conspiracy theory about government and pedophiles and how Donald Trump was going to save them and he was going to free children who were in the basement of a pizza parlor or whatever it is. Are they coming to their senses?
There were definitely some people who hung up on QAnon the day of the inauguration and walked away. Definitely some. That said, there were a lot that lost their faith that night and woke up the next morning convinced that there must still be a plan, that Trump is still in control. Some of the messages that I've seen is they're convinced that Joe Biden right now is not in the White House. He's in a movie set and is really, under military arrest and is being forced to pretend to be the president in a fake White House. Voices I've heard that say they believe that Trump is not the president anymore, but now the military is in charge. Now America is a military dictatorship, I guess, and they're very happy about that.
Welcome back, guys. As funny as hell as that is on some parts of it, don't miss the part where these guys were happy because they believe that the military has taken over and cancelled democracy. Don't miss that fact. I'm laughing at them, but don't miss that fact that there are human beings in a democracy like America, tons of them, millions, who would rather see a military takeover of the country. I urge these people to go read some books. I've read books of what happens in a military dictatorship or a military coup. I don't think they'd want that. But they're so gone in their heads. It's unreal. It's unreal. But did you see what they were calling them? Diehards thinking is that Biden's in the White House, that Biden's not in the White House, that he's in a studio. That what we're seeing, what me and you were seeing when he's signing all them executive orders, what we're watching is acting. He's not in the White House. He's on a Hollywood set somewhere under false guards, and they're forcing him to sign these things, and he's acting as a president, but it's not really what we're seeing. Oh gosh, you couldn't make this up. That they think he's in the movies, on the movie set, and he's pretending to be the governor, the president, right? And you know what? These guys want the army to take over their countries because Trump's not there no more. What do they think will happen when the army takes over your country? They need to go live in a country where it's happened. I swear to God. Guys, let's keep it moving because there's no saving some of these people. The good thing is some of them are waking up. So take a look at my next video now, yeah? And what this is going to show you guys like a lot of the tweets that was going on as he was throwing it. Because the thing is, most of these people, and I'm guessing a lot of people here as well, the tweets that's been flying around, it was like, nah, Trump's going to pull something out the hat. He's going to invoke martial law. Nah. Those army that we're seeing on the ground, they're there for something. They're there for something. He gave us some hand signals and said, stay home, I got this, or something. So these guys are thinking something's going to happen right up until the last minute. So take a look at my next video now, guys.
United States. Constitution of the United States.
So help you God?
So help me God.
Congratulations, Mr. President.
The election was stolen. Biden would never become president. Trump would round up the so-called deep state in a reckoning. It was all part of conspiracy theories like QAnon that many Trump supporters bought into. As the reality of Joe Biden's presidency set in, some QAnon forums were filled with people coming to the realization that they had been duped.
There are a lot of QAnon followers who feel very angry and disillusioned as they realize they have been misled. But there are also many people who are still doubling down, still trusting the plan, still thinking that something very dramatic is going to happen.
Joe Biden was just sworn in about 15 minutes ago.
Welcome back, guys. That's the tweets when they realize this is all fake. Like, I mean, I just love this show. You know what I love about life is that when you tell too many lies and you believe lies, eventually the truth's going to hit you in the face. Now, how you deal with it is the funny side of life. That's really the funny side of life. And, you know, guys, many more of you here in the UK are going to have an awakening like these people that I'm showing you on here today. Anti-vaxxers, 2 to 3 years from now, you're going to wake up and say, oh, like, okay, right? The thing to take away from this, whether it's Trump, whether it's these pay-as-you-go scientists who have been struck off But yet you think, oh no, they've been struck off because they're telling the truth. I put it to you that you're dumb. Because would you hire a plumber who's been struck off his checker trade, for example, or his plumbing association? Would you hire a teacher who the teaching union has struck off? Would you engage a builder who's been struck off? What is it about fake news and fake scientists that when it comes to them, oh, they want to tell you they're deplatformed, as in code word for struck off. What is it with scientists that you guys are happy to see a scientist who's at a riot? You're happy to see a scientist who's running with QAnon lot. She puts up a nice pretty stage and tells you, yeah, we've been deplatformed, but that's because we're telling it. Why would you believe that person when you won't hire a builder who's been struck off? The awakening is coming to every one of you. So let's move on. This video here is the best of the bunch. CNN caught up with this guy who he's a preacher. He's one of them QAnon preachers, right? He tells you himself. Anyway, he goes to Washington, D.C. with his phone. He's streaming to his YouTube channel where he thinks, yeah, I'm going to see this action take place. You got to see this to believe this, guys. Take a look.
Last night when we were out in the streets here at this time, we came across a Trump supporter who was streaming live on YouTube. And here's what he told us. Have a listen. How are you going to feel when Biden is inaugurated at noon today?
You're going to ask me that. I don't believe, this sounds so crazy, and I recognize how crazy this sounds, but I don't believe Joe Biden is going to be sworn in as president today. I don't. I actually don't believe that. President Trump, up until the point that Joe Biden walks up and says, I, Joe Biden, he can actually initiate martial law. And I actually think that all this operation at 2:30 in the morning on the 20th of January, 2021, there's something going on. I was just kind of in shock, and I thought I had to reevaluate everything, the way my life was going to be now, because it's so different than my expectations. And I literally was just kind of walking around like, what now?
Do you think maybe the way you were wrong about Joe Biden being not sworn in, you might be wrong about the whole election rigging thing?
No, I'm convinced the election was a fraud.
Do you feel like you've been duped, that you've been tricked, that you've been fooled in some way here?
Actually, no. The way I felt was when I saw, I was waiting up until a minute that he said, I, Joe Biden, like when I'm watching him walk up, I'm thinking to myself, my life's about to completely change because I've been saying I'm either a conspiracy theorist or I'm a prophet.
That is funny as hell. I mean, did you see when it dawned on him when he was saying that? He waited up to the moment that Biden started to take his oath of office. And that's when it hit him. And he looked up and he's been walking around all day thinking, my life's just totally changed. I'm either a conspiracy theorist or I'm a preacher or a prophet or whatever. Mate, I got news for him. He's a conspiracy theorist. He's so far gone that even now that big theory has been discounted, he still wants to cling on to certain parts of it, which to me makes me not want to ever feel sorry for people like them. When does it stop? When do you wake up and say, look, man, I've believed 4 or 5 of these theories. Now, it's, you know what, let me start seeking better information. When are you guys going to start waking up and doing that? Anyway, we're going to go over to the press now, the right-wing press. You know, the people who have carried Trump. And you're gonna love this clip, this last clip I got for you guys, right? This is where, I mean, the right-wing press, if any ruler of another country had been impeached twice during the term, the right-wing press would slaughter that guy, they would slaughter the country. How could you elect someone like that and everything else? If a Democrat has been impeached once, Clinton got impeached once, and it wasn't over, it was lying about his sexual misdemeanor. The Democrats have never let Hillary forget about it when she was running. The Republicans. But yet, take a look at how they are praising the worst president in the world that the world ever saw. The only president to be impeached twice. The only president that the whole world is celebrating that he left. Like you can see from the mock-up on my first video. But look at how the right-wing press, and pay attention to Newsmax because they are now the new Fox. Since Trump fell out with Fox because they actually told the truth for once and called the election when every other news channel called it, because that was the fact. So everyone's left, a lot of people have left Fox now. Fox is too nice now. They're telling the truth too much. We don't want you to tell us the truth. What's wrong with you? We're getting over to Newsmax. Newsmax tells us what we want to hear. So take a look at a clip from Fox and Newsmax. Pay attention to what they're crying about. I'll see you on the other side to say my goodbyes.
They'll criticize President Trump, but no one can argue he is a worker. You know, he doesn't drink alcohol. He stays up late at night. He watches every show. He's working. He got to work immediately.
Well, I think people who are staunch conservatives in our country just feel so defeated because of this election. They do feel like it was rigged. And then to see what's happening in Georgia, that the Democrats could have the House, Democrats could have the Senate, and then the presidency.
And that's
like a homily, a priest. Joe Biden may be Catholic, but he supports abortion and he can't pronounce Psalms. A priest is the last person I would compare him to. I don't think a priest would invite the Trump-hating Lady Gaga to sing either. For a man who is calling for unity, Biden calls on her to sing the national anthem. It's not who we wanted to hear from.
But folks, now it falls to us. And he's been very inspirational. We now have to fight cancel culture, each and every one of us. We, each and every one of us, have to stand up for our constitutional rights. How do you feel about Joe Biden? He is the president of the United States. It's okay, ladies and gentlemen, to say you do not wish the president success. It is. Now, I wish him no harm, of course, and I want him to be happy and healthy in his life, but I wish Joe Biden no success. Fair enough. Joe Biden jumped the gun a little bit today. He got sworn in at 10 minutes to noon. I don't mean to nitpick, but does say noon according to the law.
Welcome back, guys. Yep, that's, Fox is talking about he works really hard. He watches all the TV shows. I've got news for him. If I employed someone who was working at home in these times, and when I called his missus, said, oh, he works really hard, man. He watches all the TV shows, yeah? That's the day that guy leaves my business. He's leaving the company on that day. To even come out of your mouth? Really? And then the other one's angry. Listen to what he says. How could he hire Lady Gaga when she hates Trump? Well, I got news for you, Newsmax. The whole world hates Trump. The whole world. This guy's. I'm sorry, guys. Listen, I've come to the end of the show. And I just have to say, listen, I enjoyed this show. And I'm going to have many more of these as more and more people wake the hell up from this bloody trance that they're in and this cult mentality they're in. This is what this channel is about. It's to prove them wrong and to maintain that we've been telling the truth the whole time. So listen, if you like the service we provide, if you like the fact that we call them out and we tell the truth, then please hit the subscribe button and see more shows. Take care. Have a brilliant week. Have a great weekend. And I'll see you all on Monday. Bye-bye now.